Hey, what is going on guys? RvzStealth here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the jungle tier list for patch 9.4. Lots has changed over the past few patches in regards to the jungle meta, so let's get into the video. So to start off in the S tier is going to be Kane. So Kane has been helped out a little bit over the past few patches by a few different things. So with a lot of the early game junglers kind of falling out of the meta, especially Camille, it does favor Kane quite a bit because he's not going to get punished as much right now for his weaker early game. Also, we are seeing more utility junglers being played, picks like Sejuani, Nunu, even some Ivern. So these picks Kane can do very well against because they can't really pressure him super hard in the early game, and it allows Kane to just get to his form. Once he hits his form, he becomes a monster there, and once you reach the mid game right now on Kane, once you get your warrior, your black cleaver, and then one tank item with the new Conquer on Kane in this patch, he's just a very strong jungler at that stage in the game, and you can just really take over games with Kane in this patch. The new Conquer is especially good on Kane because once you get it stacked out, the 10% healing there applies to AoE abilities, and if you get like multi-man Qs in team fights, multi-man Ws, then the amount of healing coming out from that is going to be really good, and it just makes Kane even more unkillable in the mid to late game. So number 2 in the S tier is going to be Master Yi, and Master Yi, especially for the lower elos in this patch, is an insane jungle pick. The new Conquer on Master Yi is basically the perfect rune for him. He can stack it up even faster in this patch, get that thing active, get that thing to 5 stacks very quickly, and then the bonus healing, the bonus true damage, and just the bonus damage from Conquer is very strong on Yi. You also do go Blade the Ruined King on Yi, so your ability to stack the Conquer up on Master Yi is super easy. Blade the Ruined King, an auto attack, your Q, you're gonna be able to get your Conquer at 5 stacks extremely quickly and just start beating enemies in duels once you do hit your mid game spike. New Spear of Sojin that got introduced, I think it was last patch, also very good on Master Yi. Just once you get your Blade the Ruined King, your Spear of Sojin, and then once you get your Rage Blade especially, those 3 items on Master Yi, if you can hit that point, you're basically going to be unkillable in the 1v1, and you can just take over games at that stage. So he's basically just a ticking time bomb in this patch. If you let him reach those 3 items, then he's just going to solo carry games in 9.4. So number 3 in the S tier is going to be Nunu. In my opinion, the best tank/utility jungler for patch 9.4. He pretty much has it all for a utility jungler. He's got great dragon, great baron control. He's got really good crowd control in his kit. His ganking potential in the early game is really strong. So this jungler, if you're just looking for a tank jungler in this patch, he does have it all. The jungle XP nerfs a few patches back also really don't affect Nunu at all. He's a jungler that doesn't really rely on levels as much as other junglers. As long as you can just get your tank items on Nunu, as long as you can just peel for your teammates in team fights, then you are going to be very effective on the pick. And then with AD carries coming back into the meta with the crit item changes, it just makes Nunu even stronger because he does have great ability to peel for his carries in team fights. So Jax right now, in my opinion, is just one of the best blind pick junglers for this patch. He does a really good job at countering a lot of the meta jungle picks. He does great into Master Yi, really good into Kane, Xin Zhao, Lee Sin. He can just pretty much beat any jungler that's being picked a lot for this patch. So if you are looking for a solid blind pick jungler for 9.4, I would definitely pick up Jax. The new Conquer, really good on Jax as well. On a lot of these like auto attack based consistent damage junglers, Conquer is going to be very good on them for patch 9.4. And he's a jungler that is pretty solid at all stages of the game. You do have the ability to gank pretty effectively in the early game with Jax. Your mid game spike, once you do get your Blood Razor and your Trinity Force is extremely good. And then once you get your Spear of Sojin as well and your Sterix, you just never really slow down on Jax, and you're always going to be effective at all stages of the game. So Jarvan S tier for 9.4, he has seen quite a rise over the past few patches. The buff to his E, either last patch or the patch before, really helped him out. It just allows him to clear a lot stronger in the early game. It also gives extra attack speed to his teammates, so with AD carries being stronger in this patch as well, like the bonus attack speed that you can give to your AD carries is definitely a very underappreciated part of Jarvan's kit. He also does do very well against a lot of the most picked junglers, especially against Lee Sin. Lee Sin is the most picked jungler right now for 9.4, and Jarvan does exceptionally well against the pick. He also is one of the best level 2 ganking junglers right now, with Camille dropping out of the meta, with Xin Zhao not being as strong as he was in previous patches. Jarvan is definitely one of the strongest junglers who can look to make an impact very early on in the game. So without a doubt, the strongest level 2 jungler right now is Udyr for patch 9.4. If you're looking for a high impact early game jungler on this patch, I would definitely be picking up Udyr, especially with the new Conquer on this jungler. It just makes him an insanely strong level 2 duelist. Nobody can contest this guy right now for Scuttle Crab, and with seeing like more of these weaker early game junglers being played, with like Master Yi being played more, with Kane being played a lot right now, those junglers, you can just really look to feast on them in the early game, set them behind, and just get a really good snowball going on Udyr. And then lastly, to round out the S tiers for this patch is going to be Rexi. So Rexi is a jungler right now that is really good, especially for the higher elos. In the lower elos, she's not as good of a pick for this patch. I think you definitely need a lot more practice on Rexi and more knowledge on the pick in order to play her at a high level, but the quality of life changes she got in this patch just are really helping her out. The fact you can no longer dodge her ultimate makes her damage at level 6 way more consistent. You also can hear the enemies a lot easier with your tremor sense in this patch, so it allows you to track the enemy champions a lot nicer for 9.4. The new Conquer also really good on Rexi for this patch. You can stack that up really quickly on Rexi and get the true damage and the healing coming out really fast when you are dueling. And then she's also one of the strongest early game ganking junglers, so if you can utilize Rexi's unique pathing in the early game, her unique jungle routes, and just gank from places where the enemies aren't going to expect it, you can really take advantage of this champion strong early game for 9.4. So for tier 2 or A tier for this patch, I did move Xin Zhao down out of S tier for 9.4, mainly because if you're looking for a strong impact early game jungler for this patch, I would just be playing Udyr. With the new Conquer on Udyr, his level 2, his early game is just insanely good, so Xin Zhao is still a great pick for this patch. His level 2 ganks are still very effective, but again, I think that if you're looking for a jungler that can level 2 gank well in this patch, then Jarvan is definitely a very good pick for 9.4. For Rammus and for Ivern, I do think they are very good picks still for 9.4. Ivern, in my opinion, is just a bit weaker version of Nunu for this patch. He's a little bit harder to execute. He also does rely a little bit more on his team in order to succeed, but if you can play a good Ivern, he is definitely very strong in this current meta. Rammus, still a great pick, especially for the lower elos. He does get overshadowed a little bit in this patch though, because of the Conquer changes. Some of the Conquer junglers are just very strong right now for 9.4. And then two junglers that are more so on the sleeper OP side for this patch include Kindred and Shyvana. Both these junglers right now do very well with the new Conquer. Not a ton of people are running the new Conquer on these junglers. I think Kindred especially, not a ton of people are running it on them, but a lot of high elo Kindred players right now are running Conquer and having a ton of success for this patch. Now for the Shyvana, I think that especially for the lower elos for 9.4, I would consider picking her up. She's a pick that did get actually buffed a few patches ago as well. She now does a lot more damage to Dragon and to Baron, so her objective control is really good right now for this patch, and the new Conquer is just great on both these junglers because they have very easy ways to stack it up to 5 very quickly and just get a lot of benefit from the stats. So for tier 3 or B tier for this patch, these are your average jungle picks for 9.4. Graves might be one there that is a bit of a surprise to some of you guys. Graves is a jungle pick that has not really been directly nerfed over the past few patches, but he's more so been heavily indirectly nerfed. With Stormrazor getting changed a few patches ago, you no longer have that really nice 2-item spike on Graves and that really nice mid-game spike there, and his build path right now just isn't as good as it was in previous patches. Also with the red smite changes a few patches back, that does hurt Graves as well, and the jungle XP nerfs a few patches ago also hurt him, so he just has been indirectly nerfed quite a bit over the past few patches. And then lastly here to round out the video for the C tier junglers for 9.4, these are the junglers I would be trying to stay away from for this patch. Camille, after she got nerfed a few patches back, no longer a very viable jungler right now for 9.4. Other jungle picks here like Mundo, Skarner, Trundle, they're just pretty crappy picks right now. I know that Trundle did get a buff, I think it was in this patch actually, but doesn't really affect him at all. Sylas right now, he is being played quite a bit in the jungle, but he's not performing very well at all. He does a lot better in the mid lane and in the top lane, so if you're looking to climb, I would be staying away from Sylas in the jungle. So that is going to be all for the jungle tier list here for patch 9.4. A lot of pretty good jungle picks right now in the current meta. There's definitely quite a bit of a selection in both the S tier and in the A tier for 9.4 that you can have a lot of success with. With that being said though guys, if you did enjoy this video, then be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have yet to already. So thanks for watching, Have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video.